All right, so foam roller and weights. And we'll start laying on our backs. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Let's just take a moment to find our alignment. We'll make sure our feet are in line with each other. And with our sit bones, ground your tailbone down. Keep your hip bones and pubic bone level. Arms heavy by your sides, chest open. We'll bring the low back down to the mat on the exhale. And then inhale, return to a neutral pelvis and spine. Exhale, low back down to the mat, and inhale, return to neutral. Let's do a few more of these, just moving the pelvis and spine, beginning to warm up those low abs. We'll do one more. Find neutral on your inhale, and then exhale, roll up into a bridge. Low back to the mat, engage your tummy first, then think heels to bum as you roll up the rest of the way, engaging the backs of your thighs. Hold at the top, inhale. Exhale, roll back down, one bone at a time, lengthening your spine down onto the floor and finding neutral at the bottom. Inhale. Exhale, low back down to the mat, tuck your pelvis, engage your tummy, peel your spine off of the mat, rolling up into a bridge. Inhale, hold strong in the backs of your thighs. Exhale, roll it down, one bone at a time, lengthening down onto the floor. Finding neutral. We'll do just a few more of these, focusing first on our abdominals, on moving each vertebrae of the spine, and then engaging the backs of the thighs. Inner thighs stay engaged at the top, knees in line with sit bones. Roll back down, one bone at a time, really moving your spine again, thinking about that length and movement of the vertebrae. Find neutral at the bottom, inhale. Exhale, low back down to the floor. Tuck your pelvis, engage your tummy, peel your spine off the mat, rolling up into a bridge. Inhale at the top, strong in the backs of your thighs. Exhale, roll back down, one bone at a time. Coming all the way down and finding neutral at the bottom, tailbone heavy. Let's find neutral again, and then lift one leg up to tabletop on the exhale. We'll inhale, lower, and exhale, lift. Pulling inwards with your belly button and keeping your pelvis steady. The leg moves from the hip, keeping the knee nice and still as well. The abdominal wall pulling inwards the whole time, wrapping those lower ribs around the body. One more on the side. Go ahead and put that foot down. We'll go to the other side. Exhale, lift the leg to tabletop. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. And again, focusing on the heaviness of the tailbone, the wrapping inwards of the abdominal wall, moving the leg from the hip, pulling inwards with your tummy, focusing on the engagement of your abdominals as stabilizers for your pelvis. Good. Let's do two more. And one more. Go ahead and put that foot down. We'll take our arms out to a T, palms up towards the ceiling, shoulders really heavy on the mat, legs one at a time to tabletop. Squeeze your legs towards one another, and then let's rotate the lower body, lifting one hip, legs go to the diagonal, and then pull your low back down to the mat, bring your legs to center, and then find a neutral pelvis. Once you're there, inhale in your rotation. Exhale, pull your tummy in, engage your side body coming to center, finding neutral. Taking your time and moving with your breath, focusing on feeling the engagement of the muscles that wrap around the sides of your body. Each time you lift your hip and the legs go over, and each time you pull your low back down to the ground. So focus on the side body, the obliques doing the work to rotate the lower part of your body. Inhale in your rotation, exhale really strong in your obliques to come to center. Good. Going the other way. Continuing to focus on the side body. Let's just do one more on each side, lifting your hip, strong obliques to come back to center. We find neutral, all that low ab control to move between that tilt and a neutral pelvis. Pause at neutral, legs at tabletop. Pull inwards with your tummy more, lower one leg down towards the floor. Inhale, pause, exhale, switch your legs. Inhale, pause, exhale, switch. Keep your belly pulling inwards, nice and steady with your hips. Good. Keeping the knees steady, taking your time. We can take the one leg down towards the floor so the toes graze the floor, and then switch. Good. And again, we're focused on pulling in, wrapping inwards with those lower abs. Focus on feeling the engagement of the muscles in your tummy to keep the stability in your pelvis and spine. Let's do two more. And one more on each side. And we'll put the feet down onto the floor. Let's go ahead and straighten our legs out, reaching long through the legs, extending through the front of the hips. Take your arms over your head, reaching overhead with your palms facing each other. Let's lift the arms up and over so they're by the sides, and then take the arms back up overhead. Just the arms to starting to move those shoulders, arms overhead, lifting your shoulder blades, arms down by your sides. And as we go here, we're going to wrap those lower ribs inwards. So as your arms go overhead, your ribs hug tightly around your body. Let's just do two more of these. Ribs hug as the arms go overhead. And one more. Pause with your arms over your head. Hug those ribs nice and tight around your body. Pull inwards with your upper abdominal muscles. Pull inwards with your tummy. Feel that abdominal engagement. And then inhale, lift your head and shoulders. Bring your pinkies to your legs. And exhale, lower it back down. Good. Now just a little lift of the head and shoulders, pinkies to thighs, preparing for our roll-ups. Good. Inhale, lift the head and shoulders, pinkies to thighs, pull in with your tummy. Good. And exhale, lower. Let's do just three more of these, focusing on the upper abs again, thinking about wrapping the lower part of the rib cage around the body. We'll do one more. Lower it down, pause, arms overhead. Again, take a moment to wrap those lower ribs around the body and pull inwards with your upper abdominal muscles. If you need weights for your roll-ups, you can grab them and take your arms to the ceiling. We'll inhale, lift the head and shoulders, bring the pinkies or weights to your legs. Exhale, use those strong abs and roll up to your C shape. Shoulders just forward of the hips, tummy pulling backwards, and then let's roll it back down, one bone at a time, lengthening your spine down onto the ground and taking your arms overhead or just up to the ceiling if you have weights. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders. Pinkies to thighs, tummy wraps inwards. Exhale, roll up, use those strong abs, take your time. You're really using all those muscles for control, hands out in front of your shoulders at the top, tummy pulling backwards. Let's roll back down, one bone at a time, lengthening the spine nice and slowly down onto the floor, really trying to feel that connection to your abdominal muscles. We want to feel the muscles engage. Inhale, lift the head and shoulders, micro pause. Exhale, use your abs, roll up really slowly, finding that C shape, tummy pulling backwards, and then let's roll back down. And again, we're thinking about trying to touch your lowest vertebrae down to the floor first. And then the next vertebrae, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one until we're all the way down, arms overhead. We'll do one more. Inhale, lifting the head and shoulders, pinkies to thighs, slowly rolling up, using all of those abdominal muscles for control. Shoulders forward to the hips, hands lifted in line with the shoulders, and then we'll roll down, bringing the lowest vertebrae down first, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Good. Arms come all the way overhead. Let's bring our arms back down by our sides, bend your legs, and then let's grab our foam roller. We'll hold the foam roller in our hands, lift one leg up to tabletop. We're going to flex the ankle so that we can push the foam roller up against our foot. Once we have that position, we're going to hold on to the other end of the foam roller with our hands. So we've got that tension again, thinking about holding the engagement of the tummy. I would like for everyone to make sure that the pelvis and spine are neutral. So that means the low back is off the ground if you're able, tummy's pulling inwards, tailbone grounded. And then let's straighten that leg out, pushing with your hands, keeping the tension on the foam roller, and then bringing it back into tabletop. Good. So we straighten the leg forward. The foam roller stays pretty much horizontal, and then we'll bring it back in, keeping that tension on the foam roller the whole time. Good. Very nice, everyone. Straightening out and bending. Again, we want to be focusing on our abdominal muscles. So really pulling inwards with those low abs. We might have some hip flexor work happening here too. That's fine. Let's keep the tailbone heavy and the belly pulling inwards. Just one more here. Bring it in. We'll go ahead and grab the foam roller, put the foot down, switch to the other side. So we have, again, that flexed ankle, pushing the foam roller against the foot, keeping that tension with the hands, tailbone heavy, space under the lower back, wrapping abdominals inwards, and then we'll begin to move, extending the leg out and bending it back in. Good. Reaching forward, exhale, inhale, bend. Keeping the tailbone heavy, the tummy pulling inwards. Good. And reaching forward on the exhale, inhale, bending the knee. Keep it going here. A few more, focusing on your abdominals to the best you can. So really pulling inwards with your tummy. Let's do two more. Good. And one more. Go ahead and bring it in. We'll grab the foam roller. Let's put it off to the side for a moment. Excellent work. We'll take the arms back up over the crown of the head. Palms are facing each other. We'll straighten those legs back out on the mat. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders, pinkies to thighs, micro pause. Exhale, rolling up nice and slow, focusing on the abdominal engagement, shoulders just forward to the hips, and then we'll stack the spine, lifting up through the crown of the head. So we're in our very tallest posture. Hands move to touch the back of the head pushes back into the fingertips. Let's lift up through the spine even more. Ground down with your legs. Exhale, twist 2 pulses. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist 2 pulses, inhale, center. As we rotate, we are thinking about our oblique abdominals working again, so that side body. And then keeping the lift through the crown of your head, keeping the heaviness of your legs, maybe watching the feet to make sure that there is no shifting side to side. Keeping the head pushing back into the fingertips to help keep good alignment of the neck. 2 more on each side, sitting even taller. Last one, sit as tall as you can. Come to center, drop your hands. Let's reach our arms back out in front, and then we'll go ahead and round through the low back and roll back down onto the mat. Nice and slow. Trying to set the lowest vertebrae down first. Then the next, and the next, and the next. We'll take our arms overhead for a moment, little stretch there, and then bring your arms all the way back down by your sides. Let's bend our legs. Feet in line with each other and the sit bones. Squeeze your bum, lift your hips up into the air. Tap down and then lift up, squeeze that booty. Tap it down, lift it up. Keep going here, hinging from your hips. Engaging your seat, trying to keep the pelvis level as we lift and lower, the inner thighs engaged as we lift and lower, making sure the knees don't flare out as we lift. Staying here for another 4, lift 3, lower 2, good. One more at the top, hold it, stay there. Keep the lift of your pelvis. We're going to do just tiny little lifts from the line where the bottom meets your thighs, thinking about lifting from the line right at the top of those thighs, right underneath your bottom. Keep it going. Lifting, 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 tiny pulses. We'll just stay here another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold again. Keep that lift, nice level hips, and then we'll roll down one bone at a time. Again, thinking about the lengthening of the spine and setting one vertebrae down at a time, rolling through the low back and finding a neutral pelvis at the bottom. Let's take our arms up over the crown of the head again. We'll inhale, lift at the head and shoulders. Head, straighten your legs, roll up. Finding your C shape at the top, shoulders just forward of the hips, and then we'll stack the spine, sit bones grounded. Let's grab our foam roller again. We're coming to the same flexed foot position where we can put our foam roller up against both feet, and we're going to hold on with our hands to the other end, just pushing some tension there, and then we'll roll back like we're doing a rolling down from our roll up, but we're only going to come about halfway down, keeping that push with our hands on the foam roller, and then coming back up all the way to your tallest seat. So lift through the crown of your head at the top, push into the foam roller. Good. Tuck your tailbone. We want to start this movement with the pelvis. So the tailbone tucks, and then we roll back using the low abs. Good. Keeping the tension on the foam roller, and then coming back up. Finding that tall seat at the top. Best posture. Start with the tailbone, tuck it under, around that low back, roll back. Good. Keeping tension on the foam roller, and then rolling back up, focusing on those lower abs and sitting tall at the top. Good. So we're going to tuck the tailbone, round the low back, roll halfway back. Good. Trying to round through that lower and mid spine, keeping tension on the foam roller, and then rolling it back up. Let's do one more here. Tuck the tailbone, round that low back, rolling back, tension on the foam roller, head, and then coming all the way back up to our tallest seat. We'll move the foam roller so that it is lengthwise on the mat. Find your weights, set them nearby, and then let's go ahead and sit on the foam roller on the very end and lay down so that the foam roller is running up the length of your spine. Once you're there, we'll grab our weights. And once you have your weights in your hands, we'll take the arms to the ceiling and find our alignment of our shoulder blades. So let's start with the shoulder blades gently touching the foam roller, and then we're separating the shoulder blades nice and broad, and then bringing the shoulders, so shoulder blades so they gently touch the foam roller. So just moving shoulder blades away and then shoulder blades touching, finding that nice movement of the shoulder blades, starting to engage our upper back stabilizers. Good. Let's do 3 and 2 and 1, and then we'll settle the shoulder blades so they're just touching the foam roller. Let's bring our arms nice and slowly down by the sides. Good. And then back up to the ceiling. And then we're going to take our hands a little bit above the shoulders and then back down by the sides of the body. So going a little bit bigger today than we normally do. Normally, I'll have you stop right above the shoulders, but we're going to go just a little bit higher. Just starting to challenge the muscles on the tops of the shoulders. Arms come all the way down by the sides, going really slowly. I like we're sort of moving through molasses, thinking about that tension. And you can always use really light weights here, or no weights at all, if that's right for your body today. If you're not using weights, you're welcome to go a little bit even bigger overhead. But as you're going towards that overhead position, really paying attention to your shoulders and making sure that the weight in your hands is the right amount of weight for you to be going in that range of motion. Good. Let's just come down by the sides one more time, nice and slow, and then all the way back up. We'll take the arms to stack over the shoulders. Let's take our arms out to a T, and then bring your arms down by the sides of your body, and then up over the chest. So we'll start taking it out to a T, and then down by the sides, and then up over the chest. Good. Keep that going out to a T by the sides of the body, and then over the chest. We're going to try to keep our shoulder blades pretty still here. So noticing that they're gently touching the foam roller and seeing if you can keep them there. Out to a T, down by the sides, up over the chest. We'll do a few more here. Just really trying to move through that range of motion while keeping the upper back nice and stable. Keeping your tummy pulling in, noticing your pelvis and spine are neutral. Good. Let's do just one more in this direction, and then we're going the other way. Hopefully we're starting to feel some muscles working in our arms. We'll go down by the sides of the body first, out to a T with our palms up, and then arms to the ceiling. We go down by the sides, palms up as we go to a T, and then up to the ceiling. And as we keep going here, we are going to keep those shoulder blades still nice and still. Arms by the sides, out to a T, up to the ceiling, keeping it slow and controlled. If you need to micro bend your elbows, that's okay. Otherwise, arms just about straight. And let's just do a couple more here. Down by the sides, out to a T, over the chest. Good. And after this next one, we'll bring our arms up to the ceiling and we'll pause and settle those shoulder blades back on the foam roller, making sure they're still steady there. Let's go ahead and take one weight and put it down, arm down by the side on the floor with the hand without the weight. We'll take that same side leg and lift it up to tabletop. Once we're here, we're going to make sure we're okay with whatever weight we have in our hand going overhead, and we might put this weight down if it's right. I have a 2-pound weight, so I feel okay about taking my arm overhead with this. We're going to go overhead with the arm and extended with the leg, and then bring it back in, tummy pulling inwards. Good. Overhead with the arm, extended with the leg, pull back inwards using your abdominals, pulling in with your tummy, really thinking about using your abs for balance, for stability, to help keeping the movement of the leg. Good. Using hip flexors, pulling inwards with your tummy. Let's do another 3 and 2. Good. One more. Arm up, leg to tabletop. Put your foot down. Let's switch the weight to the other hand. Hand on the floor. The hand on the floor, same side leg goes to tabletop. And then same thing here. We're going overhead with the arm, long with the leg, bring it back in. Noticing if you feel more or less balanced on this side, reaching long and then pulling back in, trying to keep the stability of your pelvis, the heaviness of your tailbone, strengthen that shoulder as the arm goes overhead and pulls back in. Good. Let's do another 3 and 2 and 1. Bring it in, and then let's go ahead and put the foot down. We'll put the weight down as well. Let's put both hands on the floor. Bring both legs one at a time to tabletop. And holding here, keeping your tummy pulling inwards, using your hands as little as possible to keep that stability. And then let's extend one leg out to a diagonal, bring it in, and then take the other leg out to a diagonal. Good. This is where we start. If you'd like, you can change the legs past each other so that there's a moment when maybe both legs are a little further from your body. If you need, keep the one leg in as the other leg extends and returns. Good. Keep it going here, moving the legs in the air, focusing on stability with your abdominal muscles. pulling inwards with your tummy, using your abs for balance. Good. Let's do 3 and 2 and 1 more on each side. Good. Both legs at tabletop. We're going to squeeze those legs towards one another. And then let's take both legs a little bit away from the body and then bring them both back in. Good. Both legs away a little and both legs back in. Keep it going slowly with the legs, keeping it as small as you need. Good. Maybe going bigger if it's right for you, lowering and lifting, continuing to think about those abs, helping us keep balance here. 2 more. And 1 more. Let's go ahead and lower the legs all the way down to the floor. Put your feet down, and then we'll come off of the foam roller nice and slowly. Moving it off to the side. Let's grab our weights again and take the legs nice and straight on the mat. If you do not need weights for your roll-ups, I still want you to grab some. We're going to take the arms up to the ceiling and we're going to do some roll-ups as slowly as we can. So we'll lift the head and shoulders, bringing the weights to the legs, and then thinking about coming up as slowly as you're able to, using the weights for leverage as you need, and rolling up as slowly as you can. Good. We're finding our C shape at the top. So the tummy is pulling backwards and we're sort of trying to counter that with our muscles by lifting up a little bit. Now we're going to roll down as slowly as we can. We're just going to do this 3 times. We're going to keep the weights heavy. You can let the weights come towards your legs. You can get heavier weights if you need to, but we're really thinking about how slow we can make this movement, how slowly we can use each of those muscles. So again, on our second one, we'll lift the head and shoulders, bringing the weights to the legs, and again, thinking really slowly as we can to maximize the work in our abdominal muscles. Coming all the way up to that C shape, tummy stays pulling backwards. We lift up a little bit to find that lifted C shape, and then we roll down so slow. Again, thinking about that leverage of the weights to help us, but we're trying to put that lowest vertebrae down onto the mat first, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. Good. All right, we're going to do 1 more here. Lifting the head and shoulders, weights to legs, and then very, very slowly rolling up. Good. Really nice, everyone. Finding your C at the top, and then rolling it back down, 1 bone at a time. Lengthening, lengthening, lengthening all the way down, nice and slowly. Yes, good. All the way onto the mat. Beautiful job. All right, let's go ahead and bend the legs. We'll put the weights off to the side. Let's grab our foam roller again, put it behind your knees. And then once it's there, we'll lift our hips and put the foam roller on the sacrum. Let's take our legs to tabletop. Once the foam roller is positioned, we'll take our legs up to the ceiling. Let's straighten our knees, engaging the quads. Think about lengthening through the back of your thighs. And then let's just go ahead and turn those feet out. We'll open our legs to a straddle, starting to think about those inner thighs again, reaching up towards the ceiling. So open to a straddle and then reach up towards the sky. If you have your camera positioned, you can use the camera to help make sure that at the top, we're pointed straight at the ceiling with the legs. We're reaching through the toes. The knees are really straight. We're trying to extend through the knees, opening the legs to a straddle and then reaching to the sky. Let's do another 4. Good. And 3. We'll do 2 more. And one more, open, and then reach up towards the ceiling. We'll make our feet parallel. We'll go into some scissor kicks. So taking one leg forward, one leg back, pulse twice up to the sky. Switch, pulse, pulse. Maybe we start small, starting to feel our hamstrings and our quads working together, fronts and backs of the thighs, to make this movement happen with nice straight knees. Also, again, can use the camera to see if we're making a V shape with the legs, which is what we want rather than an L. We can keep the V shape happening. And then as we go, we can make it a little bigger, starting to feel those muscles actively lengthen, reaching through your toes. And starting to find a little tempo, maybe trying to feel like we get a little bit of an increased heart rate as we move with a little bit more vigor. We'll do another 4 and 3 and 2 more and 1 more on each side, legs up to the ceiling, pause. Good. Let's go ahead and come back to that V shape. So one leg forward, one leg back. And then we're going to start with some sort of bicycle motion. We're going to be a little bit less precise about it today, and we're going to start riding that bike backwards. And so bending the leg close to your chest, switching the legs, and starting to think about getting that one leg further away from your body as it extends out. Good. Riding the bike backwards, keep it going. You can start to bend each leg a little bit sooner. Nice. Getting full extension though each time. Let's do another 3 and 2. Working muscles in your legs, thinking about those quads and hamstrings. And then we're going to go the other way. So now we'll ride the bike forward. And as we do, we're going to lower the leg down with it straight and then bend it to bring it in. Keep it going, riding the bike. So you're pedaling forwards rather than backwards and reaching out long. Trying to use those quads, use those hamstrings, keep your tummy pulling inwards. Good. Let's keep it going here. 3 and 2. Good. 1 more on each side. And then let's bring both legs up to the ceiling, pausing again there. Let's bend the knees and we'll lower one leg down towards the ground and then switch the position of the legs. We get a bigger range of motion here for our leg changes with the pelvis lifted. So let's go ahead and keep this going, focusing on our abdominal muscles, hip flexors working together, pulling inwards with your tummy. Good. Let's do another 3 and 2. Good. 1 more on each side. All right, we're going to take both legs to tabletop, and then taking one leg all the way straight, we're going to lower it down towards the ground. This is a hip flexor stretch. So I want you to straighten your leg and thinking about letting that leg be heavy. Maybe your toes touch the floor, but probably not. If you're really mobile in your hips, you might be able to get your foot to the floor. Let's bend that other leg and hug it in towards the chest. Just getting a nice stretch here for the muscles on the front of the hip. Good. Maybe really feeling how heavy your foot can be without bending your knee so that we get that nice extension through the front of the hip joint. Breathing here for a moment. Maybe squeezing your bum a little bit on that leg that's stretching. And then we'll bring that in, bending your knee. Let's hug that knee into the chest and extend the other leg out. And then this one, we're again keeping straight with the knee, squeezing your bum. Think about opening through the front of the hip, letting your foot be really heavy without bending that knee joint. So you feel a stretch in the front of your hip. Extending down towards the ground with a nice long leg, getting that nice stretch through the front of your hip. Thinking about straightening your knee even more, really engaging through the front of your quad, your front of your thigh to get that nice straight knee. And then we'll bring the leg in. And let's put the feet down onto the floor. We'll go ahead and move the foam roller out from underneath the sacrum. We'll move the foam roller off to the side, set your bum down onto the ground. And then let's go ahead and take our arms up to the ceiling, shoulder blades grounded, legs extend out on the mat. We'll inhale, lift the head and shoulders, pinkies to thighs. Exhale, rolling up. Finding your C shape at the top, stack your spine, and then let's separate our feet on the mat. So the feet are about shoulder width apart, arms are out in front, palms facing each other. Lift up through your spine, nod your head forward, round through your upper back, your mid back, your low back, rolling forward. Send your sit bones backwards. Feel like someone's got a hold of your head and they're pulling you forward and creating space between your vertebrae. Ground your sit bones down and roll back up one bone at a time, coming up to your very tallest seat. Lift up through the crown of your head. Again, nod your head forward, round through your upper back and your mid back and your lower back. Stretching forward through your spine, sending your sit bones behind you. Ground your sit bones down and roll back up one bone at a time, lifting all the way up to your tallest seat. Good. We'll do one more here, nodding your head forward, moving your spine, coming forward into that spine stretch, sending your sit bones backwards for a hamstring stretch. Grounding your sit bones down, rolling back up one bone at a time, tallest seat. Drop your hands. Let's all turn over so that we're on our hands and our knees and prepare to do a plank. All right, separating your shoulder blades on your back. Hands or forearms, do what's right for you. Tuck your tail, lift your tummy. We'll step the feet back one at a time and hold, finding your very best plank. Breathing here, lifting from the fronts of your thighs, trying to stack shoulders over elbows, over wrists if you're on your hands. Pulling your elbows towards your feet if you're on your forearms, finding that connection to your abdominal muscles. Thinking about the alignment of the spine, we're looking at the floor just in front of the fingertips. If we're on our hands, if we're on our forearms, we're looking at our wrists. Keep it going, keep breathing nice and strong through those arms, strong in your shoulders, lifted from your tummy. We're at about 40 seconds. Keep breathing. Keep lifting from the fronts of your thighs. Come onto your knees at any time if you need to. Holding and breathing. We're just here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees down, sit back, stretch your shoulders in any way that feels appropriate to you. Let's come all the way forward and lay down on our tummies. Laying on your belly, arms reaching back by your sides. Long spine, press your palms into the sides of your legs. Lengthen your spine forward. Inhale, lift your chest off the floor. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift your chest, lengthen your spine. Exhale, lower it down. Continue here, inhaling, lifting the chest, engaging your upper back. Exhale, lower down. We'll do another 4, pulling in with your tummy, and 3. Let's do 2 more, lengthening the spine as you lift, pulling inwards with your abdominal muscles. Push your arms into your sides. 1 more. Lower it down. Let's bring ourselves back to a child's pose. So hands up by your shoulders, push back. And then taking a little stretch for your low back. We'll come back forward, bringing our foam roller with us this time, placing the foam roller on the front edge of your mat, laying back down on your belly, taking your arms overhead, palms facing each other, wrists on the foam roller. Let's go ahead and do that same exercise. We engage the upper back first, lifting the chest off the mat with the upper back, and then we'll push down into our hands to come up a little bit more, engaging through the muscles that wrap around underneath your shoulder blades, and then lower it back down. As you lower down, head comes between the arms, shoulder blades lift up towards your ears, and we take a little stretch for our shoulders. Engage your upper back, lift your chest. As soon as a little bit of the angle is out of your shoulders, we'll push down into our hands, engaging from the shoulder blades, pushing down with the arms, lower it down, find a stretch for your shoulders, the shoulder blades up towards the ears. And then again, upper back engages, lift the chest, push down with your hands, coming up a little bit more. And rolling it back down, finding that shrug of your shoulders up towards your ears, stretching your shoulders. Good. And two more. Engage the upper back first, then push into your hands and lower it down. Finding that shrug of the shoulders stretch. One more, upper back lifts us first, and then we add that engagement of the shoulders, pushing down and rolling up a little more. Lowering down, one more shoulder stretch, shoulder blades shrug up towards the ears. And then we'll take the hands off of the foam roller, push yourself back to a child's pose. Take a nice stretch. Forward to your hands and knees, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to keep that strength in our shoulders so that we have a little bit of space between our shoulder blades. Let's take one leg out to the side. Before we go, make sure your weight's even in your hands. So the leg is coming out to the side. We're going to hold here for a moment, feeling that lift and sense of engagement in the side of your bottom. We're going to hold the leg there, straighten the leg out, bend it, and then lower it back down. So keeping weight even in the hands, we go out to the side, fire hydrant, strong in the side of your bum, straighten the leg, bend it, and then lower. Good. Keeping strong in your shoulders, nice flat back, abs engaged. We go to a fire hydrant, straighten the knee, bend it, lower it down. Good. Out to the side, straighten, bend, lower. Feeling the side of your bum working, looking at the floor right between your fingertips, trying to keep that weight even as much as you can in your hands. Out to the fire hydrant, straighten, bend, and lower. We'll try to keep the pelvis nice and level as we go. Good. Let's do 3 more here. Out to the fire hydrant, straighten, bend, lower. Adjusting your weight as much as you can to keep the weight even in your hands. Last one, out to the side, straighten, bend, lower. Move your wrists around a little bit. Take the weight off your hands. Get the blood flowing in your wrists again, hands as you need to. And then we'll go to the other side. Shoulders over wrists, tummy pulling inwards, abs engaged, upper back engaged. Fire hydrant first, straighten, bend, and then lower. We're trying to keep the pelvis nice and level. So out to the side, straighten, bend, lower. Trying to keep that weight even in your hands, nice strong arms as we go. Out to the side, straighten, bend, lower. Good. Tummy pulling in, out to the side, straighten, bend, lower. As we go out to the side, we're going to keep the leg where it is. So we're keeping the hip still, straightening and bending the knee, and then lowering. Out to the side, straighten and bend the knee, and then lower, keeping the hip position pretty much the same once you hit that fire hydrant. 2 more. Good. And 1 more out to the side, straighten the knee, bend it, lower down, and then let's all go ahead and turn over to sit on our bottoms. We'll grab our foam roller, bringing it so it's sitting just behind the back, and we'll lean back so that we are resting on the foam roller. Let's take our hands behind the head and we'll arch the upper back over the foam roller. And then let's go ahead and lift back up. So arching the upper back and lifting. Good. Let's keep this going, supporting the head and neck with the hands, focusing on keeping some strong engagement in the abdominal muscles. So we're actively extending through the upper back and then lifting back up. And using your abdominal muscles to come back up here. Focus on that engagement. Let's do 3 more. And 2. Good. We'll do 1 more. Lifting it back up. Pause. Let's lift the hips and take a little roll up and down the spine. Finding that upper and mid back massage. Finding any spots that need any extra attention today. Good. Let's just stay here for a few more moments, getting a good massage. And we'll go ahead and bring the foam roller just below the shoulder blades, sit your bum down, grab hold of your thighs, pull yourself to a seat. Let's sit on the foam roller. Popping your bum up there and letting your sit bones be behind, legs be in front. And let's sit in our very tallest seat with our legs straight. Hopefully we can all achieve this with really nice straight knees, shoulders over the hips, tummies pulling inwards, shoulder blades pulling gently towards the spine and also slightly down the back. Lifting up through the crown of your head, let your hands rest wherever makes sense to you. We're going to start using those abs even more to feel that sense of lift, like you're really using your belly to hold your whole torso up. Look in front of you, arrange your neck and head in line with your spine. Try to relax your shoulders, but keep that gentle pull of your shoulder blades together and the shoulder blades gently down the back. We'll take a few nice deep breaths here, just focusing on the breath and the body. Noticing the engagement of the abdominal muscles, feeling the lift through the spine. Just focusing on your breath for a few nice deep breaths here. That is our class for today. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll look forward to seeing you all on Monday.